Good morning, soccer fans. We hope you've got your cups filled with some tea because our cup of tea is ready to talk all things women's soccer. I'm Megan Warner and I'm joined by my co-hosts Katie Goodman and Harlie Ford. How are you guys today? It's good to see you after some internet struggles.
Oh, tell me about it. It is good to just be on and things moving smoothly.
Yeah, no, it's nice to always be back, And the struggles of running a live show is that it is live, and we kind of have to work with the present. So, the fact that we're able to
Yeah.
do this is still, it's wonderful. I'm glad I get to talk to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Now, today we're going to switch it around a little bit. We're going to talk about our hot topic first and then come on to the news in a little bit. So today we're going to be talking about preparation and recovery because it's that time of year in hashtag summer of soccer where schedules have got even crazier. And it was kind of like, how can they get crazier when people are playing double headers, midweek games, but somehow with the playoffs and the national championships, it's got crazier. We've seen teams play 2 games in less than 24 hours, teams going into extra time and penalties, and then, having 1 day in between before they're playing 90 minutes again. So how has that been, Katie? I mean, you've kind of actually experienced that with San Antonio Athenians. So tell us a little bit about how it's been for you.
Yeah, with situations like these, rest and recovery is everything. It can sometimes be the deciding factor between who wins that second game. And luckily for the Athenians, we had a little bit of time between that second game, so we were able to do a couple different things to kind of prep us. And one of those things was we got in the pool, we moved around, we kind of just, that way we had some active recovery. We weren't just sitting around, we got in the pool, had a fun time. One of the girls' moms, Channing, her mom was able to open up her house and we used her pool and we did a couple of different stretching exercises, kept it fun and light the morning of the game. So that really helped. Not only that, but some of us were taking ice baths in the hotel. Some of us were rolling out. I led like a mini yoga session. Like we were doing all the things, like whatever it takes, we're going to be ready for the game. Yeah. Yeah, everybody had a hand in it.
Yeah, definitely ice baths for me have been so key. I remember when we had our doubleheader weekend with Unity, I was like, yeah, sorry, boyfriend, but I'm raiding your entire freezer and taking all of the ice and putting it.
It makes all the difference.
I definitely miss ice baths. I wish I could do more of them, but we kind of run Unity out of our house, so we never have ice in the house.
Oh my God.
We put it in all the coolers and stuff. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be all right.
Speaking of where all your ice is going, hydration. I mean, that's something else that I think is super, super key when you're preparing and recovering between games. Hydration. Like, you need to stay hydrated.
Yes, and part of that hydration is electrolytes, like making sure you're either drinking your Gatorade or your coconut water or Pedialyte, whatever it is. Apparently pickle juice is really good for that to prevent cramping as well. So everybody kind of has their little knacks that work for them. But yeah, and with hydration, it's one of those tricky things where sometimes you don't even know you're dehydrated. So it's like you really have to drink more water than you think that you need, so that when you come to game time, especially with this Texas heat, man, like it just takes it right out of you. So yeah, hydration is huge.
Yeah, speaking of pickle juice, they sell like pickle juice shots in like the health section at stores. It's crazy.
Yeah. One of our girls does that. She keeps a pickle and pickle juice and Pedialyte in the cooler. So during halftime, she can take her little shot and do stuff because she's been known to have cramps and stuff. Yeah, so that's Ashley Newman. Ashley Newman, she does what she got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to the squinches.
Yeah, so Megan and I, we have squinchers, and they're essentially, we call them our go-go juice. And we have them at halftime, and, they're a huge pick-me-up. They're like chock full of potassium. Honestly, look at the nutrients. They're a little full of sugar as well, but
Cool.
they do. There it is. Yeah, they do a great job of making sure that like you're back on your feet, especially after you've just lost everything in a game. The last
Yeah.
game, all of our games we played this season have been on turf, except for one, and it's just turf is inherently more brutal than grass because it retains so much of that heat and just bleeds it right back into your legs and
Yes.
your body.
Yes.
So having a hydration product is so critical that after you lose all of your fluids, you replenish as quick as you can, especially when you have double headers.
Yeah. Where do you guys get that stuff? I'm like, I could use some of that.
They are our sponsor. They're the sponsor of UNBFC. So
Oh.
they actually sent us an entire pallet of Squincher. It
Wow.
was like thousands of them, and they're just like stacked in our house.
Oh, cool.
um,
That's
yeah, yeah, but
amazing.
yeah, but you can buy them online. But you know what, Katie? If you send me your address, I'll send you some Squincher. I can hook you up. We have a bunch.
Sweet. Sweet. I got the hookup.
Yeah,
That's
that's really
awesome.
good. So something else that I would do with my team in college in terms of hydration is before sessions we would have to weigh in, and then after sessions we would weigh out, and then kind of work out how much water we need to drink. And I think that's something that's definitely a very useful tool that even if whether your team does it or not, that's something that you can do individually at home too.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember in college actually taking salt pills because during 2 days I had lost so much water. They were like, you need to retain this. So they would actually give us salt pills and things like that. So yeah, that's definitely a more calculated way of judging, just how much water you're losing after every workout. And for us, it's hard to tell right now because our practices are in the evening. So, which is very different than like a 6 or 7 p.m. game where you're going hard immediately in dead heat, So, yeah, but that's definitely one of those things that I would recommend, especially if you're somebody who is, prone to losing water, prone to cramping, things like that. The more you know about your body, the more you can do about it.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you mentioned salt pills because during my college season, I would take salt pills before my games because like I just knew that like um I oh man, I earned the nickname Puke and Rally.
Oh, whoa, what a name.
Yeah, because I
Oh my
would
goodness.
run hard enough and lose enough water to. It's fine. Anyway, but I would take the salt pills, and that really helped me, not be as nauseous or run clear out of every drop of water in my body. So that's a really really great tip. If you're having struggles with anything like that, I recommend salt pills and also acids. Get yourself some Tums or some Pepsid. It's a good
Mm,
thing.
yeah, because the salt pills will upset your stomach too. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember that being a thing for sure. I
yeah.
also
But
remember them giving us protein bars after after practice because when you're doing that much cardio, it's like you also want to retain, your muscle mass with protein and stuff like that. So
yeah, I
that's
mean
another big thing.
that goes into the other critical component of staying ready for games is nutrition. Like Katie, what do you like to do like leading up to like these big games? What is your recommended eating schedule?
So, of course, I have a really weird diet, so not everybody is going to follow this, but I highly recommend getting a good source of protein and a good source of complex carbohydrates. So, a lot of people think carbs are pastas or bread, but complex carbs break down differently. They turn into energy better. So, that would be things like sweet potatoes or baked potatoes. Like, if you can work that in with a little bit of protein, that's going to give you the fuel you need to do better in the game. But also, I don't know, I mean, technically it's not a complex carb, but peanut butter and jelly sandwich is just my go-to. Like, it's like I've always had good luck after I eat a PB&J. I get on the field, I do what I gotta do, I have good healthy levels of energy, and I think it's the protein and the fat in the peanut butter mixed with a little bit of sugar from the jelly. So things like that, maybe eating a light half sandwich right before the game can really help to sustain you, especially for those later games where you're like, man, it's like I already had my dinner. I'm not really, I don't want to like fill up. And so those are really good. A lot of those protein bars are good, but you have to watch it because they have a lot of artificial sugars in there. And sometimes those can kind of like counteract things. So you just have to, I think by this point, most of us know what works for us, right? We know, hey, my body handles this really well. I know the last time I ate this, I felt really good. And that's the biggest thing. You need to eat what makes you feel good, what makes you feel up and happy and energized. There's a lot of foods out there that affect people differently. Like, for example, if someone has a gluten intolerance, that will actually change your mood if you eat it. So things like that. You don't want to be in a bad mood going into a national, final. So, things like that. It's just knowing your body is the most important part. For me, I know that I handle fish really well. So that's the protein that I tend to consume maybe during that day. And then a lot of veggies. And then by the time I get to the game, I'm also, looking at some of the more fatty stuff like the PB&J, just to kind of keep me going there. And then, of course, all the hydration. And the rest.
Yeah, I saw you guys going to Subway on Instagram, the Antonio Thean story, and I'm like, yeah, it just takes me back to my college days where my travel days were filled with subs, Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, Subway, just like on a constant rotation.
Yes. It's so funny. I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't know if I can handle any more Subway. But you know what? I still, at the same time, I'm like, it's a good old fallback. That and McAllister's, oh my gosh. That's like the one we've mainly been going to before games. And I love McAllister's because they have those giant spuds, and you can get them with veggies or with meat, and then you can get like a little sandwich. And I think that to me is like really the perfect pregame meal is, having access to stuff like that versus just pure carbs. Like you want a little bit of everything. You want some of the nutrients and the healthier stuff. And also, I take supplements. I have my B complex vitamins. I take taurine. Those kinds of things, when I take them in early in the day, it just puts me in a good mood. My body feels replenished. I'm also taking D3 vitamins, which are really good for your immune system, to ensure that when the time comes, I'm operating really in the most optimal way possible.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. I know, I've got a lot going on. Look. Once you make it to my age, you've got to like take every single possible avenue to make sure that you're going to be A-okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing is that we talk about nutrition, like, oh, what do you eat before the game? And then people think like that's the meal that is going to set them up. But you have to be thinking about nutrition all the time. Like you can't just go, okay, we have a game on Saturday, so Friday night pasta, Saturday baked potato with some protein, and I'll be good to go. And then in the week, you're stopping at McDonald's, you're stopping at, all these fast food places because it's a full week thing. Taking these supplements, Katie's not just like, oh, I'm going to take this on game day. It's a regular routine to get this in your system, and nutrition comes at such a big price because it's a 24/7 thing. You can't just think, oh, it's game day, now what do I eat?
Absolutely. You are spot on there. And like so much of being good on game day, you're right, comes from what you do throughout the week. Like if you're practicing hard, the game is going to be good. So if you eat well, you're going to be feeling good. It's the same thing. You have to practice with your diet in the same way that you physically practice the game. And what I love that I've noticed since coming back is my body knows when I don't treat it well food-wise. It's like, hey, no, you can't have a burger right before practice anymore. Maybe in college, but now no, so it's like, oh, thank you so much, soccer, for keeping me in check right now. And thank you, body, for telling me, hey, like, treat me a little better if you want me to operate at this level. So definitely grateful for that. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. And I'm sure, that's the thing. Like I said, everybody's different. We all have our own plans. Some people don't like to do too much, and that's okay too. Some people are just naturally, they don't need all the things. They want this and that, and boom, they're good, So, yeah, I'm sure that you guys also, have your own pregame staple meals. What is your go-to?
Um, well, I'm sort of still stuck in that like college. I'm eating subs before I go to games. But also my thing is like I can't eat before a game. You know, that's something that like really was a struggle. Because usually our pregame meals were like an hour before we started warming up, and it was just like I couldn't do that. And so I like to eat in the morning. Like if we have evening games, I like to be able to eat in the morning, and I have like a nice filling meal. Like maybe I'll do eggs, a bagel or something, something that is like familiar and not too complicated. Like I know it's gonna be okay in my body. And usually like that's enough energy to carry me until the game. And usually for the game, I have like a granola bar or trail mix or something like that. Something that's like a small pick me up so that like I have like some energy to rely on during the game. But I don't like to be like too full for a game because that's never good for me, especially with my PNR status. Um, but also like Katie, like I want to like put that as a quote in some like soccer Bible. Like you practice the way you play, and like you eat the way you play. Like that
Yeah.
connection there, it makes so much sense to me. That's like I've never
Yeah.
really connected with like the ideas of nutrition very well, but that just like totally changed the game for me because I totally buy into like you practice the way that you play. Like, and of course
Yeah.
it makes same sense. Like if you're not eating well and treating yourself right the days before you're supposed to perform, like how are you supposed to be an athlete the day of? I really love that. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll
thank
take that
you.
into
Yeah.
stride. Try to be better.
uh,
I definitely want to stick on the fridge. So then when you go to grab something, you're like, oh wait, now we gotta think about what I'm gonna have.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm just going to throw this in there. I know we need to move on to the next topics, but I saw this thing on Instagram where if you put at the front of your fridge all the healthy stuff and all the condiments like in the drawers, that you will just naturally eat the healthy stuff. Like it's like a proven method. Like people are like going crazy about it. I haven't tried it yet, but I really want to, and I want to see what happens. Like imagine you go to your fridge and you're like, man, I'm hungry, and you can't see any of your produce in the drawer, so it all goes bad. But imagine you show up to your fridge and you're like, man, I'm hungry. Oh yeah, I've got that celery. Oh yeah, I've got some strawberries or whatever over here, and you're just like, boom, easy, you know. And it's like you gotta set yourself up for success, you know. Like you gotta keep your vitamins in a visible place. You have to keep things accessible and easy. You don't want to get too complicated or complex with any of that like nutritional stuff. Just know what works for you. Keep it simple, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I feel like there's things that you buy, like you buy a pineapple because you're really feeling it when you're in the store, and then you put it on the side and it just sits on the side because you're like, I just don't want to cut it.
Right, exactly, that's
I think
exactly
there are
what
few
I'm talking
things sadder than a wasted pineapple. Maybe, oh, I know, wasted salad, because that stuff goes
Oh,
bad in like 2 days. This is like,
I'm super guilty of that.
oh
100%.
man, when you open up
Yeah.
the bag and all the leaves are wilted, you're like, what have I done? What have I
It's
Yeah.
like
done?
there goes my $8, dang it. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So another point that's really key in preparation and recovery that, again, sometimes it gets overlooked, just like nutrition, sleep.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
important.
Oh my gosh. You know what? After this, I'm going to share with you guys an Instagram post. I'm going to put it on our Twitter, and it talks about the effects of sleep. It's like so important. You have no idea what even a difference in hours can make. And it's not just mentally. You know, the first thing we notice is like, oh man, I can't pay attention. Oh man, my eyes are tired. But physically, things are going on below the surface when you don't sleep. And, I'm gonna find that Instagram post and I'm gonna share it because I can't do it justice right now. But yeah, no, there is so much. In fact, my New Year's resolution was to get consistent, regular sleep. That's how much of an impact it actually has made. And I operate at a completely different level when I've had good sleep. So I can't speak highly enough of it. Yeah. What about you guys? Are you sleepyheads? Are you morning birds? Or what's your schedule like?
Go
For
ahead, Al.
me, sorry, I don't know if you were lagging there, Meg.
Oh.
Yeah, I
We're
was.
fine. Yeah, so for me, I my schedule right now in life, like it's just been so wild. It's really tough to try and figure out like the times that I am going to sleep because I'm just running around so much, taking care of different animals all over the place. But I will say like when it comes time for game day, like I try to get to bed at the very latest by like 10, and even if I'm not sleeping, at least like I'm in that space and I'm resting. And I'm trying to make the right choice for my body so that like even if I'm not able to close my eyes and shut it all off, like I'm still resting, and that's what matters. You know, I put things away. I'm not distracted. Like once you're in bed and you're like on your phone looking at Twitter, whatever, like you're changing your mind to think, oh, bed is Twitter time, or bed is like
Yeah.
whatever you're using. So I put things away and I try to be like very serious about that because it's totally true. You know, when you wake up and you're exhausted the day of the game because like, you just couldn't get to sleep, it's the worst feeling in the world. Like everything feels so heavy, and especially after you've been playing a lot of games. I mean, this week is especially for so many athletes, like the championship games that are coming up. Like, I hope they're getting very, very good nights of rest because that it helps heal your body. It helps like consolidate memories in your mind. It helps bring you a sense of peace. So it's definitely super important. And
Yeah, definitely.
I try.
Something I've kind of like struggled with is I'm really quite fussy when it comes to sleep. Like I want a good pillow. And I like a thick pillow. So when I have like a pillow that's really like thin and like I'm really close to the mattress on my head, like I find it really hard to sleep. So then, when you're traveling to away games, you're going places for tournaments, it's like I have to sleep in a hotel bed. And what if I don't like the pillow? And like it's just like little details like that can affect you. If you can't fall asleep quick because you're just like worried about the pillow or a hard mattress, soft mattress, whatever it can be. Again, it's like these small details that they can affect you, and especially in the UWS, like the teams are so good and the level is so tight. Like there's not much between these teams. So the difference between a good night's sleep and a bad night's sleep is actually going to come into play and be really key to winning a game. So it's like little things like that, whether it's I have to bring a pillow with me in away games, or like I bring an extra blanket to like put under the pillow so my pillow's a little bit thicker. Like little things like that is what I would do to kind of make sure that I'm getting a good night's sleep, because I definitely am a sleeper. Like I like to have a solid like 7.5, 8 hours.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that about the pillow because when the pandemic hit and they were like, all right, we're going on lockdown, I was like, oh, I need a neck pillow. Oh my God. And I like ran to Walmart and I was like, are you guys open? Okay, I need this. I like took whatever neck pillow I could find because I couldn't find mine and I had like neck stuff going on, and oh my, it just cracks me up. Like it really does. It's like really important. It really is. And especially when your body's moving in ways that are really intense, like you notice every little thing. You become so hyper aware of your body because of how it moves and what it does for you that, yeah, a pillow literally makes the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Here, I'm gonna say we need to get a pillow to sponsor UWS. The pillow
There we
of
go.
UWS.
Yes. You can have the little logo right by your.
A nice like thick memory foam one will do me perfect.
Yes, that would be so good. Yeah.
And then the kind of final element, I guess, that we should discuss, and we kind of touched on it a little bit with when you spoke about what the Athenians did, is that like stretching, mobility, massage therapy, all that kind of stuff where you actively try to help your body recover. And I feel like this is the one that most people, they go to this first, whether it's you finish the game and you do a cool down and stretch, you do a foam roll, you get the Theraguns now, which are super popular, all that kind of stuff. That's the obvious one, I feel like, but it's obvious because it works and it brings results.
Right. Absolutely. And luckily, I have a background as a yoga instructor, so I do have a pretty good understanding of body mechanics and how when you're feeling a pain in a certain area, typically it's not just that area, it's the surrounding areas that are kind of causing the issue that also need that attention. And so that's something you want to keep in mind. Like, say you're feeling something in your quad or your hamstring or whatever, maybe you're just getting a little bit of soreness. It's like, look at the bigger picture. Look at the way maybe it's are your shoulders rolling forward? Can we focus on bringing them back? Or maybe we work on stretching out other different little muscles. And that's something that I was luckily able to help my team with this weekend. Maggie had like an upper middle back kind of pain, and so we did just a quick little flow and stretched things out, got into all those like weird little spots that you forget you even have in your body, like under the clavicle or under the shoulder blade, things like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, massage therapy too, sometimes there's just no way around it. Sometimes you have a knot and it just has to be rubbed out, and it's really painful, but like sometimes that's the price that you pay. It's just, that's what you have to do. So I think, I would be interested to see like some of the things that maybe LSR did before the game, or I'd even be interested to know like what some of the other teams have going on that they want to do, or that they do before the games and things like that. Because everybody's different. Some people travel with a trainer. I know that we haven't been traveling with a trainer. I don't know if she's going to be there this weekend or not, but it's always really helpful when you have somebody like that on hand to like really dissect and get to understand and learn those problems. But it's one of those things where, right now the UWS, it's still growing. And unfortunately, a lot of teams still don't have that funding that they need to really safely take care of their players during intense matches like these. And I think that, maybe next year or the year after, something that I would like to see is allowing the trainers to go with us. And our own trainers who know our injuries and know exactly what works and what we need. Because the fact of the matter is we are playing very intense soccer. I mean, the game against LSR might as well have been a boxing match with a soccer ball. It got wild out there. Yeah, so I think it's like a car. Like, your players are cars, and they need to be maintained. You can't drive your car if you don't get an oil change. You can't drive your car if it's dirty and messy and it's not, you got to take care of your car and your players. So yeah, that's another thing I just wanted to mention. I think it would be very helpful to have like your own team physio along for the ride.
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's a lot of different problems that I guess teams will face when it comes to these. It's so easy for us to sit here and say, do this, do this, do this. But then, yeah, you can look at so many reasons as to why teams will come into problems and issues when it comes to that, whether it's, lack of funding to be able to have a trainer come to practice, excuse me, or come to games, travel with you to away games. Something that I noticed was just the sheer time. So I took Lone Star Republic as an example, where they played at 8:30 p.m. against FC Austin Elite. And then the next day, they turned around and played against you guys, San Antonio Athenians, at 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. And, we've said, okay, nutrition, you need a good meal the night before. How can they have a good dinner when they were playing throughout that dinner time? Good sleep the night before. How can they have a good sleep the night before when, that game kicked off at 8:30 p.m. So you're playing 90 minutes, traveling back to whether it's a hotel or back to your homes to sleep, and then you're waking up the next day, you've got to start your preparation, but you didn't actually get that recovery the night before in that sleep because you had a game. So there's so many things that players can incur because of the schedule that they've been dealt.
Right. And that is very interesting because they also set that schedule for themselves. I think they were willing to lose sleep over not having to play in the heat, would be my guess. I think most people in Texas would prefer to lose a couple hours versus, dehydrating, potential dehydration in the Texas heat. And also we were there watching the game, the Athenians, we watched the entire game. So we also didn't get a chance to go back and rest. We still had to eat and all of that. after the game, but we felt it was more important to understand a little more about who we were facing the next day. So yeah, those are the sacrifices you make, and that's where the nutrition comes into play of, making sure you're healthy weeks prior. Hey, puppy. Little puppy has something to say too, huh?
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Next time we need to give her a seat on camera so she can speak her mind.
Her name's Lola. She's she's very funny. Yeah, I mean, just like the conversation that we're having right now about this, I think it speaks volumes about the level of competition that we're experiencing in this league. The fact that like it's serious soccer, and it's a serious toll on the bodies of athletes playing in this league. It's not something that's simple Sunday soccer that you go out, you play for an hour, and then you call it quits, and you go to a taco truck and you get your a beer and some enchiladas or something, and you're good to go. Yeah. I mean, I played in some dirt patches where that was kind of like okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's very serious and highly competitive, and even though athletes aren't being paid to do this, it is very much a professional level of competition. It is something that happened this past weekend. Megan and I had a game with Unity, and after the game, the refs that we had, they were just dumbfounded. Like, they were like, we had no idea that this was the level of competition that like we were expecting. You guys, it was hard for us to keep up with you. Like, we need to do better as referees to like keep up with your level of play. So I think it's really tremendous that we have such a great group of teams that are willing to put in the time and effort to put out a wonderful product that people want to watch. And it's something that takes time, and it takes time every single day, and you have to dedicate yourself to it by eating well, sleeping well, drinking as much as you can of the right fluids, and also making sure that you're taking care of your body as you're going up against athletes who are D1, maybe past professional. Like, we've had girls in this league that have like played at previous World Cups. Like, it's just like that's the level of competition that exists. So I think it's everything that we've talked about goes to show like how wonderful this league is and how powerful it can be.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. It's a full-time job to play, because it's not just it's 8 to 10 practices. That is not the commitment that you're making. You're making a full commitment to your teams when you sign that contract, and you're going to pay attention to your body, whether that's when you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night, and what you do during the day too. It's so important, because if you don't, and if players didn't, this league would not be at the point that it's at, because these players are just so dedicated to the sport that they love. That's the reason that we're getting such incredible players coming out of the UWS.
Right. Absolutely agreed. The one of those things that I notice about the NWSL teams is they have these really cool facilities. They're weightlifting constantly. They have new team nutritionists. Like, they have all of these tools that allow them to be the best that they can be, because they know that the difference between winning and losing are these things. So with leagues like ours, the responsibility falls on the player. So it really comes down to like that individual accountability to really set yourselves apart and to do better, as a player, and then to encourage your team to do the same. So it's just a different ball game, and I think everyone who's playing at this level can attest to the difference that it makes when you just take care of your body. Yeah. But with all of that being said, I am going to have to bow out now, but I unfortunately have some other obligations at the moment. But I'm going to let you guys take it away and give everyone their recap that they need for WOSO. So thanks again. It was a great conversation, and I guess I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Hey, you're wonderful. Thank you for everything.
You are wonderful. Yes, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Yeah.
And then Kitty's too popular. She's beloved, so she's gotta go do some stuff. But Megan, how do you feel about talking about some WOSO news? You know, I should drop like the current news thing. You know,
Yeah, like, spill the tea. Latest and greatest. Here we go.
I guess, like,
so,
the biggest.
I mean, I feel like you go because you've got the shirt on. So I feel like, we're both in sync about what we're going to say.
Yeah. Well, if you were up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, watching soccer, then you definitely woke up to the news that after 44 games unbeaten, the U.S. women's national team fell to Sweden 3-0 in the first round in the Olympic Games. Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, I didn't wake up at 4:30 a.m. to watch it, and kudos to anybody who actually did, because I love the commitment. I did watch the highlights, and it looks like Sweden were the better team. Like, it looks like the US just kind of didn't come out ready to play the usual game that we all know that they can play. And Sweden, they took it to them and said, we'll take this opportunity. And now, there's still 2 more games in the group stages, so it's not over by any means. It just places a big emphasis on their next 2 games, and Sweden will be feeling very confident and very good about themselves after putting 3 goals past the US women's national team. And it was 2 headers, which were great goals. And then I feel like the third goal came off the post, and like first one to react and volleyed it straight in, which just kind of sums up the hunger that Sweden had to go out there first to the balls, and they put in the rebound. And yeah, 3 great goals. America hit the post twice though. It wasn't like you guys did nothing. I think it was Kristen Press had like a wide open goal at one point, and it's very unlike her, but she hit the post.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there. Obviously, I'm not in Japan. I couldn't possibly imagine what's been going on over there. After the U.S. just came off of their like farewell tour and was showing exactly what they wanted to bring to the Olympics, it was a little bit of a lackluster opening game. It did seem like they were missing some critical pieces on the field, and maybe they were just trying something else, trying something different. Because the group that they are in essentially is like the group of death. It is a very, very difficult competition that they have set in this group stage. So maybe that was their strategy against Sweden. They were trying to save legs. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Sweden is, however, an incredible team. Like, coming off of the World Cup and even their past performance in the previous Olympics, like, it's just, they are a team to be reckoned with, and they are so technical. They are a well-tuned machine. They are very disciplined. They play very, very beautiful soccer. They're very much, in a lot of respects, like how France plays. And they're just, I think maybe this is a very good wake-up call for the U.S. women's national team, that it's not going to take the usual ingredients to get a win, especially in this group. Like, there's going to have to be more besides just athleticism. There's also going to have to be that inspiration to work hard, to find a reason to do everything that you can to pull out a win, because it's not enough just to be good at soccer. Like, there has to be more. So I look forward to their next game. Hopefully they find whatever that missing ingredient is.
Yeah, definitely. It keeps things exciting, Maybe they did it so everybody can talk about them even more, because they love the attention, they love to cause drama, and they love people to talk about them. And maybe that was their tactic. Who knows? But maybe. I definitely see them coming back with a big statement after the 3-0 loss. They're not going to be happy with it, and they definitely have enough talent to be at least scoring in those games. So yeah, I think their story in the Olympics is far from over. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, but not to get too far into it. But congratulations, because England pulled out a win. So against Chile. Yeah. So
very nice
start. Awesome.
Score it in 18th minute. Settle the nerves. Go up 1-0, then scored again in the second half. Just a very happy, comfortable 2-0 win. So I'm very pleased with that, and definitely got some great talent in Team GB. too.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before.
Very exciting.
During
And
the
then
World Cup.
more exciting news coming.
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
I think we've got some bad feedback.
Yeah.
Go for it. Mia says they'll be back. Yeah, they definitely will. I agree.
Yep. We can go on to the NWSL news if you'd like.
Yeah, so kind of combining, we kind of just subtly combined USA and England by talking about the Olympics, which is a really nice transition, go us, to over into the NWSL, where we had some really exciting news. The new team, the San Diego team, who are yet to announce a club name, a club badge, club colors, they did announce their new head coach, Casey Stoney, who is a former England international captain. She had an extremely successful playing career, such a joy to watch, a true leader on the field, who then transitioned into a coaching role at Manchester United. When they first became a professional team, she was the lady appointed to lead them, and that she did. She led them to a championship title in 2018 and 2019 season. And then in their two seasons in the Women's Super League, they finished 4th place both years. So a pretty successful career within Manchester. And I see her doing some big things over in America too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's wonderful is that, we do not have enough female coaches in the NWSL, like point blank. So to have a powerhouse of both a player, an athlete, a person, a coach, come in and take on a new franchise in America, like that's so exciting. I'm really, really excited to see like what she can bring, and also hopefully that encourages, more women to try and get into these roles, or at least encourage the organizations to search for female coaches. I think it's a resource that isn't lacking. I think there are plenty of women out there who would who would do a very fine job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's definitely something to be said about having a female coach. It kind of gives a different aspect, and it's so amazing to see women's soccer be led by females who, especially Casey Stoney has had such an incredible career herself that she's going to be able to relay her experiences to her players and kind of guide them in a unique way that a male coach just wouldn't be able to do because they haven't played the women's game.
Right. Spot on, Megan. Spot on.
So moving on over into the UWS, we kind of had some sad news come out of Lansing United. They released a statement on Twitter on Monday morning stating that the club played its last season in the UWS. They had a very successful 5-year tenure as a club, both on the men's and the women's side. We saw the women's team in the UWS put in some great performances. I love the rivalry that they had with Midwest, and I'm super sad to hear that they will no longer be operating as a club.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to see that announcement come out. And, there are so many things that go on behind the scenes when someone's trying to run an organization. Like, I get to see it day in and day out. And, it's like right in my house, watching my parents run UWFC. Like, that's something that, I know how much it takes to run an organization, and it's not easy. It's difficult on a financial side. It's difficult on just like a pure resource side. Sometimes, you can't find the athletes that you need or the support that you need from sponsors. It's a little disheartening to see such a wonderful organization not continue on. Obviously, I don't know if this is like the end for the organization as a whole. They're saying like not a part of like UWS, so maybe like something will come around, and at least if it's not under the brand of Lansing United, then maybe it's the group of girls that are there, they are able to stick together and figure something else out, because it's challenging enough to find a place to play as a woman. Like it's difficult. There aren't a lot of teams. This is something that we've talked about before. Like after you graduate high school or after you graduate college, especially in America, you look around and where do you go? You have 13, now 14 teams in the NWSL. And then, there are your local teams, and those are few and far between. So for the sake of those athletes, I hope that they are able to continue playing wherever they can go. Lansing is a wonderful team, and every single player on that team could go anywhere. I truly believe that they could play anywhere. So I hope they're able to find a home.
Yeah, definitely. And there is another club within the Lansing area, Lansing Common FC, who currently just have a men's team. And they did kind of tweet a response to Lansing United's tweet. And they released a statement themselves thanking the president, Jeremy Sampson of Lansing United, who is a great guy and really done a lot for women's soccer within that area. And so potentially we may see something come from Lansing Common within the women's side, which I think would be incredible. I think, we've seen FC Buffalo be a prime example of a very established men's club starting up a women's side. And the amount of success that they have is just incredible. And, the supporters that were at the men's game came to the women's game and loved the atmosphere and just created a great experience for the players, and the players created a great experience for them. So definitely it should be on the radar of a lot of people to create women's sides to men's teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just, speaking of FC Buffalo, hey, the UWS Championships, they're coming up. I put my 2 cents in. I said Buffalo's going to take it. I still believe that.
Well,
wait, they lost. Wait, hold on. I take it back. They lost.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
No.
Yeah, Connecticut Fusion have taken the East from being the 3rd seed, which, I mean, they were the 3rd seed. Like, yes, there was 2 teams above them, but they're a really, really great side. But yeah, FC Buffalo finished regular season as number 1 and have not gone to the national championships. Connecticut Fusion will be representing the East. They beat FC Buffalo 2-0 in the playoffs. It was a great, super exciting. FC Buffalo they could not get past that Fusion defense. The Fusion defense was so solid. It was like, this is your game to step up, and they did exactly that and just limited the chances for FC Buffalo.
Yeah, I guess I was still living in a reality where they did win. I don't know what happened. It's fine. I'm really excited for them to come back next year, and it's just like, they're going to be great. They're going to be wonderful.
Yeah, they
and also that's going to be an incredible game. Connecticut, they were inspired to do what they needed to do to take that win. So, good for them.
Yes. So we have the UWS National Championship coming up July 23rd to the 25th in Round Rock, Texas. So unfortunately, us guys in Florida will be watching on the stream, which will be 11 Sports if you don't know. But if you're in Texas, you should definitely go out to these games. We'll recap our Final 4. We've got Midwest United, Connecticut Fusion, San Antonio Athenians, and Santa Clarita Blue Heat. So those are the Final 4 that will be playing in Round Rock, Texas, who do you think, Harlie? Do you have any idea who you think is going to be playing in that final?
You know what? Our very own Katie, we got our Athenians. I'm going to root for them. I think they can take it. They're a very well-organized club. I love the energy that they're bringing. I think they can do it. But also, I will put this out there, Midwest United is a team to fear. They are so strong. I think if anyone can make it, it'll definitely be Midwest. I'll put those 2 up.
Yeah, Midwest United, they still haven't lost a game to this point. They were taken all the way to penalties by Corktown in an epic 3-3 game, extra time, PKs, which went to 6-5. But yeah, they still have not been beaten. They've tied with Corktown, and then they also tied with Lansing in the regular season. But I mean, to have that confidence going into the national championship, that's going to be a really amazing thing.
Absolutely. What do you think, Meg?
I don't know. It's so hard. I feel like I'm kind of. I find it so hard to choose because Midwest, I've kind of said from the beginning, since seeing them that first game when they played against Lansing United, I was like, wow, okay, this team is really good. Like, I would love to play on that team because it was just so organized, with the confidence from every player. Like, it just looks like such a fun team to play in because they just play such beautiful soccer. Then you've got we obviously have our connection with our co-host Katie, and they've been a really great team. Like, their goals have always been so well worked, like a real team goal. Like, they didn't actually get goal of the week for a good few weeks because all of their goals were just pure team well worked goals rather than like one individual. Then you've got Connecticut Fusion. They've been really awesome this season. Pure grit, solid defense, really good in the attack. Definitely have like a very well-rounded attack. It's not just one player that they look to, but they also have big names, you know, Tiffany Weimer, who really steps up and is a leader on that field. And then SC Blue Heat, who have such history. And I said they would be in the top 4 way back at the start of the season, and here we are. I literally, I could just go back and forth in my own brain. Like, I cannot pick. I'm really not sure. It's going to be exciting. That's all I do know.
The road to Round Rock is going to be tough.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys want to catch that, it is this weekend. There's going to be so much content. Definitely follow Our Cup of Tea on Twitter, UWS Weekly on Twitter, and we're going to bring you so much exciting content from this weekend. It's going to be epic.
Well, thank you for everything, Megan. I think we had a really wonderful conversation today, and I hope whoever was listening was able to take some tips about how to stay fit, stay ready when you have a whole lot of soccer ahead of you.
Yes, definitely. And we'd just like to say huge thank you to our partners, UWS, the UWS2, and of course, Jonathan Ward for helping us bring the #1 show dedicated to women's soccer to your screens. Please follow us on the Twitter down below and the YouTube page, subscribe, and just get interactive with us. We love to hear what everybody says about women's soccer, and we love to bring you the latest news. And it's been awesome speaking everything with you today, Harlie.
Thanks, Meg.
See you, everyone.